All right, good evening, PHS parents and families. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our 9th grade parent meeting to end out the school year. If you could please take a moment to sign in using the link that's in the chat, and we'll get started shortly. Thank you again for joining us this evening. All right, thank you again for joining us. If you've just joined us, if you could please take a moment to sign in using the link that's in the chat, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you. All right, thank you again for joining us this evening. My name is Leticia Prestelo, and I'm the Parent Engagement Coordinator here at PUSD. Joining me this evening is Ms. Jenkins, one of our class of 2026 counselors at PHS. And Ms. Tanika Porter. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute fast enough. I was just gonna say good evening.
And Ms. Tanika Porter Vaughn, who's one of our parent and family liaisons at Pittsburgh High School. Ms. Tanika? Ms. Tanika?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to start with our agenda for tonight. Our agenda is the changes for sophomore year, 10th grade administration and counselor, credit requirements and credit recovery, Aries parent portal, academic support services, exploring college and career options, social media, stand informed, and Q&A and an exit review. That's our agenda for tonight.
Thank you, Annette. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to place them in the Q&A. We will not be using the raise hand feature, but we will be monitoring your questions throughout the presentation. And then we'll have some chance at the end to answer your questions as well.
Staying on track. Sophomore year, new experience, driving, working, dating, thinking about college, and staying on track for graduation.
So these 4 years at Pittsburgh High School, we know they're just barely finishing off their freshman year. But as each year progresses, things change and things get added on to their plate, and things get a little bit more difficult. And if your child hasn't already started doing these may be some things that are on the horizon for them. And again, the 4 years at Pittsburgh High School are like the practice ground for adulthood. So really, we just want to be working together to ensure their success, regardless of what extracurricular activities or changes they may have coming up in their upcoming school year as well.
Expectations: do more homework and take on more responsibilities, build up their study skills, balance their time to complete homework. The amount of homework has gone up and the classes are even more challenging. Make up for any mistakes made during the freshman year by looking for options to retake classes, whether in summer school or evening classes. Students should talk with their academic counselors to make up any classes that need to be made up in anything that they failed. And if they're in the 9th grade, anything with a D or less, if they're looking to go to college, you definitely want to make up that D, because you don't want that for included in your grade point average for college. Start thinking about building back up that GPA now that they are comfortable, if freshman year was a struggle.
And even if your child is not sure if they want to go to a 4-year university or not, definitely keeping their mind open, because sometimes we have students who maybe don't have that in mind, but as they progress in their sophomore and junior year, change their mind, and they do want to, as they explore different colleges and careers, then they change their mind and decide that they do want to. And so it's really important at every grade level that we help monitor our students' grades as parents checking their Aries parent portal to make sure that they're progressing well, if they had any challenges turning in work, or if maybe they didn't do so well on a test, then we can have that conversation with our kids. And if and we can reach out to our students' teachers or academic counselors as needed as well.
Also, keep in mind that four-year colleges do not accept any grades lower than a C.
All right, and this is our ninth grade counseling team. Our administrator for our ninth grade is Ms. Stacy Bellici Webb. Her contact information is there at the top of their screen. And our two ninth grade counselors are Ms. Kanika Jenkins, and she supports our scholars with the last names starting with the A through LE. And Ms. Rachel Diaz-Rivas, who helps support our ninth grade scholars with last names starting with LI through Z. If your scholar is a Puente student, they are supported by Ms. Danny Lay. And if your student is a ELD student, then they are supported by Mr. Luis Alberto Flores. And all of their contact information is there. You're welcome to take a screenshot, but we will be sending you this information along with the PowerPoint slides and the recording via your Parent Square account as well.
Staying on track to graduate. Staying on track requires 220 credits for 12th grade, 180 credits for 11th grade, 180 credits. Did I say 20? I don't know. 180 credits for 11th grade and 120 credits for the 10th graders and 60 credits for 9th graders. These are the units that they accumulate each year in order to have 220 by their 12th grade year.
So in a little bit, we're going to show you how you can look that up on your Aries parent portal, how you can check your students' transcript to see if they're on track. Again, by the end of their 9th grade year, they should have 60 credits if they pass all of their classes. And then each year adding another 60 credits. To graduate, they do have to have 220 credits of the designated graduation requirements. So it doesn't mean just because they have 220 credits that they'll graduate. They have to have the appropriate 220 credits and meet all of the graduation requirements in order to graduate. But each year they should have passed 60 credits. So right now in their freshman year, by the end of this year, they should have 60 credits. Now, this one, what you'll see here on the screen is your high school graduation requirements and your A through what's called our A through G requirements, which are requirements to enter a four-year university. On the left-hand side are the high school graduation requirements that you see. So you have, like, for example, 40 units in English. So keep in mind that each class, each semester is worth 5. So if they finish out and pass the first semester with 5 units, a second semester with 5 units, that's 10 units. So this would be 4 years of English. And you'll notice that's the same if you look on the right-hand side for A through G, 4-year university requirements, but not all the requirements are the same for graduation compared to a 4-year university. For example, in the area of math, for graduation purposes, it's 20 units or basically 2 years. However, for a 4-year university, it's 3 years recommended, 3 years minimum, and actually, depending on your major, it may be 4 years or more. And so that's why it's really important if your child already knows what area he or she wants to study, that they work with their academic counselor to make sure that they're taking the appropriate classes as they enter their sophomore, junior, and definitely their senior years. And so it's important that we work together with our students to kind of explore and have those conversations with their kids about what do you want to do? What do you want to do after high school? And if they're not quite sure, we want them to visit with our college and career personnel, and we'll go over some slides momentarily with the information so that they can start to think about what areas they're good at, where their interests lie, and then take some assessments through the CCGI platform so they can start to explore and see what areas might they want to consider. And so now is the time. We know they're just barely finishing 9th grade, but this is the time to start to have those conversations about what do they want to do after high school, so they don't wait until their 12th grade year. We really want them to plan ahead and work together with their counselors to set a plan so that they not only stay on track to graduate high school, but also stay on track to enter whatever career or university of their choice as well, whether it's a 2-year degree or a 4-year or more degree. So definitely have those conversations with your kids if you haven't already, especially as the summer months progress and they may be looking to do some community service hours, because that's also a graduation requirement, 35 hours of community service, 100 if they're part of the Puente and Avid program. And I always like to recommend, if your student, for example, already knows what they want to study, let's say they want to be a veterinarian, then they can perhaps go to local veterinarian offices and look to see if they take volunteers, right? And so if they volunteer with one organization over a period of, like, say, 2 years, that organization is going to be able to more easily write a recommendation letter for the student because they'll gotten to have known them over that period of time. And so when they become 12th graders and they may be applying to certain universities that require letters of recommendation, those might be, they might be able to write something in more detail. Also, a lot of scholarships by the time they become 12th graders require letters of recommendation. And so they should also keep that in mind when they're completing their their community service hours for graduation purposes, so that they can also have an organization and work with an organization that may help them down the road when they're applying for scholarships or applying for those specific universities that will require letters of recommendations. Ms. Jenkins, is there anything you want to add to this slide?
No, I think everything that you said covered it. I think I said no, but I think the only thing to add is just one thing I always tell students and parents is that Pittsburgh High School is a college preparatory school. So we're always going to put your kid on the A through G track. My philosophy is I'd rather you get to your senior year and it's time for applications and you decide you don't want to go, but you could if you wanted to, versus you wanting to go, but you can't because freshman year you made a decision that you weren't going to go. And so we didn't, give you the appropriate classes. So we're always going to push your kids to follow the A through G track so that they can have that option. And obviously everything will be a case-by-case basis as we matriculate through, but that's kind of the philosophy of Pittsburgh High School.
Thank you.
Sophomore year course requirements. English 2 or Honors English 2, World History or AP World History, Math, Geometry, Algebra 2 plus Pre-Calculus combo. Science, Chemist, Honors Chemist, or Medical Chemist. I'm so sorry, Chemist. Getting tongue-tied here. Physical education, weight training, team sports, foreign language levels 1, 2, or 3, French, Italian, Mandarin, and Spanish, must be a part of the biotech pathway. Class selection are completed in February.
So I can elaborate a little bit more on this. We offer medical chemistry and we offer biomed. A lot of students are currently in biomed and they'll matriculate onto medical chemistry, and then they'll go into courses like medical intervention, perhaps sports medicine, public health systems, and things of that nature. You actually do not have to be on the biomed pathway to try medical chemistry or biomed. We encourage it once the kids start because a lot of times it piques their interest. But we like for them to try it if they are interested in possibly going into a medical related field. I also wanted to make mention that we're also offering yoga as a physical education course for next year. Most of your scholars have already chosen their classes. We've already met and discussed. If your scholar is thinking that they want to make a change, they cannot do that on their own. They have to come in and discuss it with their counselors. They can send an email even and let us know that they're interested, and we can call them in and discuss it. At this point, schedules are already completed. Any changes have to go through us, but there is time to make those adjustments. So if you're thinking your scholar might be interested in that medical chemistry, or maybe they want to try yoga instead of just, sports medicine or, team sports or weight training, then please send them to us. And also a clarification for team sports. It's just, it's their second year of PE. So they're not locked into playing basketball only or soccer only or anything like that. They'll dabble in a little bit of everything.
Thank you.
Good to know. Check your scholars transcript. If you have access to your Aries account, you would also be able to look at your scholars transcript. If you need help with that, as far as setting up your Aries account, please see myself, Tanika Portervan, or Maria Espinoda. And we are at Pittsburgh Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 if anyone needs help with their Aries portal. Also, you will go into grades on your Aries portal and click on transcript. And this is where you will see, and it will not pick up until after the first semester for a 9th grader. So you wouldn't see anything before that. So it would tell you their grade point average of the first semester of all the grades that they passed. That's where your transcript would show. It starts in the 9th grade. If you were to check now with your 9th grader, it would be the grades from the first semester.
Yeah, so you won't see the second semester grades until this school year is over. But students do have to pass the classes in order to get the credits. I know in junior high schools, sometimes they may pass students forward even if they didn't pass the class, but that's no longer the case once our students enter our high schools. So once they enter the high school, the students do have to pass the classes in order to get the attempted credits for that class. So for example, here you see a student who has an English class and they received a C grade for the semester. What's attempted, how much that class is worth is 5 credits. What they were able to complete is 5 credits. Let's say, for example, that student had an F grade instead. So what they would have attempted were those 5 credits, and what would have completed would show at 0.00. And so students have to pass their classes in order to meet the high school graduation requirements. So we can monitor their progress throughout the year by looking at their Aries parent portal. If you don't have access to that, Ms. Tanika would be more than happy to help you. And you can also go on to your Aries parent portal and click on right next to your email address, and there's a little arrow. You click on, a little drop down menu will come down, and you click on notifications. So you can click on what day you want to receive the notification and what time. And then that way it's one less thing you have to do as a parent. It's just going to come straight into your email inbox. You look at it, and then if there's anything that draws your attention, like any missing assignments or missing class periods, then you can have that conversation with your child. New to the Aries parent portal also this year is you can also set a notification by the criteria, meaning you can say, I want to be notified if my child's grade drops below C. So if their grades drops below a C, you'll receive a notification as well. So it's a great tool so that you can monitor how they're doing throughout the year. Because many students are not going to say, if we ask them, hey, how are you doing in your algebra class? Many students are not going to say, hey, I didn't turn in some homework. Or nah, I don't think I passed that test. They might say fine or okay. And so, but as we monitor the Aries parent portal throughout the school year, we can look to see what did they score in their grades? Were there any missing assignments? And then we can have that conversation with our scholar. And if we need to email the teachers or their academic counselors to see what additional supports are available at the school site, then we can do that as well. And so it really does take a partnership working together with our school personnel to make sure that our scholars are meeting all of the attempted credits. And if they're not, and if they're struggling a little bit, having a conversation with what supports are available at the school site. So this is an example, like say, for example, of what a transcript would look like. Let's say in the top example that's highlighted in red, in the first semester, the 9th grade students scored a D. So they did receive a credit. If they do receive a D grade, it is a grade that counts for graduation purposes, but it does not count if they're choosing to enter a 4-year university, then it would have to redo that grade. But for graduation purposes and for credit purposes, the D grade does earn them the 5 credits. In the second semester, in that same algebra class, the student did not pass and they received an F grade. So then the attempted credits would be 0. And so then they would have to make that up, make up that course. That second semester, they would have to make that up in order to get a passing grade and then receive the attempted credits. So attempted credits versus completed credits are different. Attempted is what the class is worth, and then credit completed is that they actually passed the class and received the credits.
Can I talk a little bit about credit recovery?
Sure.
So for clarification, and I know it was mentioned a little bit earlier, we do offer evening school each semester. In evening school, the kids can make up 1 class. We offer summer school where the students can make up 2 classes, but it is by semester. So I guess the language is important. When we say they can make up a class, really they can make up a semester's worth of credits for a particular course. So, you know, the fall grades or the spring grades. I also wanted to clarify that summer school enrollment has begun and is almost complete. And for class of 2026, we're enrolling solely based on fall grades. No one's failed anything for the spring yet. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We're encouraging students to talk to their teachers and to see what they can do to try to earn credit. Many students know, some of them don't, but I'll share this with the parents. The lowest grade they can earn and still get credits is a D-. Now, of course, we don't want our kids to get D-, but that will still give them the credits. And that's important because sometimes students are struggling. And so if they can earn those credits, they don't feel as bad when they move to the next grade level. And then we can work on finding credit recovery options for them after that. Another thing that I wanted to share, I sent an email out to all my students and parents today. We're offering accelerated geometry for any student that's in class of 2026 who does not need summer school otherwise. This would give the students an opportunity to enroll in the geometry program. It would fulfill their year's requirement. So when they get to 10th grade, they have the option of taking Algebra 2 and or Algebra 2, Algebra 2 or Algebra 2 plus pre-calculus. And so the benefit of this is, as we were talking about the A through G requirements, the students after their sophomore year would have all 3 years of their math requirement fulfilled for that A through G. And it just gives them some different opportunities come junior and senior year. Some students want to, take advanced courses like statistics, AP statistics, calculus, and it opens that up for them. So if your students are interested, please encourage them to give me a call or to come by and see me or to send me an email, and I will add them to that registration course. Again, that's only if they don't need summer school otherwise.
Thank you.
Thank you. These are our academic support services that we have. Like Ms. Jenkins said, we have summer school at Pittsburgh High School, recovery for 10 credit units maximum, June 12th through July 14th from 8:30 to 2:07, Monday through Friday, and no school on June 19th or July 4th. Evening school is offered throughout the school year. Priority is given to upperclassmen, which means that it will start with the seniors, the ones that need it now, and then it goes down from there. Paper online tutoring service. Paper online tutoring service is a 101 tutoring service, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's free, and it comes through our Students Clever account. And what they can do is go into Paper, and they can have a one-on-one, just like we're talking on a Zoom call. They can have someone one-on-one. They can take a picture, they can type in the problem, and someone will be there 24 hours, 7 days a week to help them. And that I mean, because some of our scholars like, I don't feel like working and doing work until midnight. That's when I'm at my best. Well, they have, Paper has someone online that can do tutoring with them at midnight. And if they had a question, or if that's when they're doing homework and they come across something that they feel, oh, I can't answer that, I don't know the answer to that, oh, I'm stuck here, they can go online on Paper and someone will be there to help them with that. We also have the Master Center, which we have classes classes before school and after school. So we have a schedule on our website where you can look up the Master Center and the schedule and where the classes are located and who's teaching them. And most of the Master Center classes are your core classes. Okay. Then we also have support for our STS after school tutoring program. This program is held at the library, and it's core classes again. And you can get more of a one-on-one rather than a classroom setting in STS, and their class is from 3:30 to 5:30. So it's right after school. So these are some great support services that we have and we offer at Pitt that our students have, and they're available. All they have to do is walk in. You know, you don't even have to sign up for any of those. You just walk in and they'll take you.
So if
Anyone want to add to that?
So if your scholars are struggling in any of their classes, especially as we are in their last stretch of the school year, really encourage them to attend Mastery Center. Just as all of our kids learn in different ways, teachers also teach in a different way, right? And so sometimes it just takes that little switch where you're in a smaller class size that's more individual, so you can ask more questions. And sometimes it's just that switch of teaching style where a different teacher is able to teach it in a different way. And sometimes that's all that's needed for the student to be able to gain mastery of that subject area. And so there's a lot of service available, different support services available to help your students both in person or online. And so if your student is struggling and needs a little extra support, please encourage them to use any of these platforms. And of course, our goal is to get each and every one of our scholars to cross that stage and, within their 4 years at Pittsburgh High School, to stay on track to graduate and cross that stage, because it's to their benefit. As you can see on the screen, the more education a scholar has, the more they're going to be able to make over their lifetime. You can see the difference between a student who has no high school diploma versus a student with a high school diploma. And of course, the more years of education they have after high school, the higher their income as well. So it's to their benefit to receive their high school diploma and then continue on, whether they're doing a two-year degree, vocational school, or 4-year program. It's to their benefit to continue studying after Pittsburgh High School as well.
These are our College and Career Center information. Melanie Mosley and Sunitha Walker are our counselors for the Career Center. If you have any questions regarding college application or career exploitations, please contact our College and Career Techs and take a picture. These are a great resource at Pittsburgh High School. They have kids in there all the time, and they can answer a lot of your college and career questions. A great resource.
So if your scholars, they're only barely finishing up their 9th grade, and so they may not have in mind yet what they want to study. So this is a great opportunity for them to come and visit the College and Career Center. It's located right at the back end of the library, so they can come and visit or make an appointment with Melanie or Sunitha, and just have a conversation about this. These are the things I'm interested in. These are my strengths and my areas of support. And they can work with them to see what careers might draw their interest, and also help them get on their CCGI platform. And now CCGI platform is new it's available to our scholars starting 6th grade, and it's a new tool through the state of California Department of Education, where our scholars can start to explore different careers starting from 6th grade onward. And so it's designed to give our students a platform in which they can look at their areas of strength and look to see what careers might go with those areas of strength. And so this is an opportunity this next, if they haven't visited there already, please encourage them to go and visit with Melanie or Sunitha next school year, if they haven't already, to start to explore possible career options for their life after Pittsburgh High School. And then they can start to research that on their own as well.
Early Academic Outreach Program, which is our EAOP group. This group is out of Berkeley, and they are a great resource as well. We have Alejandro, Joy, Miss Joy, and Jolene. They are located in B201, which is in the same office I am, and they are recruiting kids from 9th grade and up to come in, and they assist students with their college applications, financial aid applications, scholarships, student essays. It's a great team. Take a picture of this information because it's a great resource for your students. And they can drop in during brunch, lunch, and after school in B201. The TRIO Talent Search. What does it mean to have TRIO Talent Search at Pittsburgh High School? The Talent Search program provides fundamental support to participants in their preparation to enter college. The program provides academic, career, and financial counseling to its participants and encourage them to graduate from high school, continue on to college, and complete their post-secondary education. Talent Search serves high school students from low-income family and or high school students from family in which neither parent graduates holds a bachelor's degree. Services include counseling, mentoring, college campus field trips, summer internship, one-on-one check-ins, tutoring, cohort meetings, workshops, planning for college, transcript review, college application support, financial aid application support, scholarship support, financial tips. Miriam Dumrin is the Talent Search Coordinator. She's located in room B208. And her office hours are Monday through Thursday. And they can come in at brunch, lunch, and after school. This is a great resource as well. And all of these resources are up close to the library, the 2nd floor. So it's not like they have to run all over campus to find them. They're located all on the same area, same floor and everything. Great resource.
So whether it's our college and career counselors or our EAOP program or our TRIO program, all of these services are available to help you support your scholar and help them research and identify what area of study they might want to explore after they've completed their years at Pittsburgh High School. So again, please have these conversations with your scholars so that they can visit and make sure they're accessing these services.
We also have on campus military services that come in, and when they come in for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, they're usually located in the library or college and career. And here are the websites you would use to contact them. Things to do your sophomore year. Keep your grades up. Participate in extracurricular activities, club and sports, volunteering, Look for leadership opportunities, as it will help you stand out when completing college administration and scholarship. Study for the PSATs, which is in October of 2023.
And definitely, as the summer's coming up, it's a great opportunity for your scholars to complete some community service hours. And again, it's also an opportunity for them to explore different career options. So if they're looking for a career, again, as a, let's say, a veterinarian, they can go and look at local veterinarian clinics to see if they take volunteers, so they can kind of get an idea whether they're volunteering there, what those careers look like. So it's also a great opportunity to explore careers as they're completing their community service hours. And again, any opportunity for them to stand out in leadership roles is also another opportunity as well. The counselors always have in their office different organizations that are looking for volunteers. So throughout the year, our students can go to our counselors' offices and access that information and then sign up as needed as well.
Driver's education and work permits. PHS has a program with STS Academy when students can completed their driver's education training. This does not include behind the wheel training. Courses are 8-week and offered in the fall and the spring. Work permit. What age is your student eligible for a work permit? Ages 14 to 18. What are the requirements for a work permit? Student must have a 2.0 grade point average. Student must have good attendance and behavior. And student must have a social security number. Where do I get a work permit? You can go to your counseling page on the PHS website. And this is the link you would use if you want to take a picture of that for the work permit. And you will see your counseling for this. Because the counselor, if I'm correct, has to sign off on the work permit. Am I correct, Kanika?
That is correct. So we approve them, but we do not enter the data or distribute them. But another important piece of the work permit is that the student has to have, the job already. So when they do their application, usually it asks, can you furnish a work permit if hired? They would say yes. If they're offered the job, then they would, give the employer the work permit. They would fill out their portion. The student would then return that to Pittsburgh High School with either their social security card or a picture of it. If you don't want to give that to them, then you can just have them take a picture of it. But we need to see that social security number in order to process the permit. The turnaround time is usually 24 to 48 hours. If, it's not a busy time, then sometimes, if they bring it in first thing in the morning, they can pick it up at the end of the day after school. But the permit will not get processed or approved without, one, the employer or the potential employer filling out their portion, and two, verification of that social security number. So that's really important. Sometimes that holds it up and the students are waiting and they're getting frustrated and parents are frustrated, but it's because we don't have a copy of that social security number. And again, it's the offices, the secretaries approve, the secretaries process them. The counselors only sign off on them based on, the students' grades and qualifications.
Thank you. I did also want to point out, if your student is interested in taking the driver's education training, they do have to be 15 and a half years of age in order to take that class. So they do have an age requirement there. And for the work permit, even if work permits are approved, they can be revoked if it has an impact on their students' grades, because the priority is always going to be making sure the student maintains their grades and to be able to graduate within 4 years.
Beware of social media. Be social media smart. Colleges sometimes look at social media to evaluate a student for admission to college. Pictures and comments could be determined to your, I'm sorry, determined to,
Detrimental.
I'm so sorry. detrimental to your student's administration, to college and or employers. Also, there can be legal issues if your student is a minor. So we definitely want to make sure that we are monitoring what our kids put on social media. They may not think it's harmful at the time, but if you're trying to get that big corporate office job, a lot of jobs, colleges do look at social media now, because that's where our kids hang out at. So they are checking social media. So be aware and let our kids know what you put on there is not always easy to delete. It can always be found. So if someone is looking for something, it can be found. So tell them to be careful with social media. And that's something we always try to instill in our students, to let them know social media is a very serious tool to have.
Another point to the social media is that oftentimes the students don't realize that they may post something that might offend someone else, or someone else may have a problem with it. And so what happens is, you know, maybe the colleges aren't digging through your social media, or maybe your employer is not digging through your social media. But with the cancel culture that we have now, people kind of jump on that, and they may, you know, email your school, or write to your school, or write to your employer and demand, you know, that your admissions be resent, or that you get fired because they're offended by that post. And so that can have a detrimental effect on, you know, your employment or your college opportunities. So I just like to emphasize that to students as well, because it's not always that people are, you know, their employer is going to dig back and find something that they did a long time ago, but somebody else could just bring it to their attention or make it a big deal. And then that can have a long lasting effect. So either way it goes, they really just have to be smart and know that what they put out really can come back to bite them.
So in addition to that, I just encourage you, when we have different parent webinars on these topics, to please attend, so you can get information on how to best monitor your students' social media platforms. And again, all that information always comes to you through your Parent Square accounts.
Stay informed. Parent Square, Aries Parent Portal, Pittsburgh High School Facebook page, College and Career web page, and PHS web page main page. These are all ways to stay informed on Pittsburgh High School campus. Parent Square, Aries are the two platforms that I can help you with in my office. And I put my contact information in the chat. So if you look in the chat, I put it in there, and I'll put it in there again because we like it's farther up. But they are definitely two of your most important tools as far as your students, because it shows their attendance, their grades. You could email the teachers, stay informed of what's going on campus as well. And College and Career has a website as well, which will break it down to you for 9th graders, the 10th graders, the 11th graders, and the 12th graders, and what they require and what's going on for each year, and what your student's gonna have to look forward to. And of course, you always have Pittsburgh High School website main page, which you can find any and all of these websites on that page.
There was a question in the chat about where students can locate the community service forms. They can get those in B121 to get the form, or they can also go to the PHS website, and it's also there. Please keep in mind our website platform will be changing over the summer. And so some of these links will change as we'll be switching providers for our website platforms, but the information will still be there. But we'll continue to have grade level meetings with you at each school next year as well. So you'll have all the most current information from year to year. There was a question in the Q&A in regards to if we offer trade school options. I'm gonna leave that for Ms. Jenkins.
Yes, I was actually typing a response in the chat, but I'll go ahead and answer. So we offer courses like auto shop, barbering, construction tech, robotics, different things like that. And with some of those courses, students have opportunities for certifications. Those would be the more advanced courses, so they would kind of want to start and matriculate through. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean, as far as like programming or whatnot. But we don't have any direct pathways to a trade school. And if I'm not answering the question, if you could just clarify it, Ms. Esmeralda, then I will try to do a better job.
Thank you. Also, for their community service hours, we highly encourage students to keep a binder. So before they turn in whatever community service hours they completed, we always encourage the students to make a photocopy and keep it all together in a binder, so that as they approach their senior year, that they have all of their community service hours. So they should be turning them in as they're completed, but they should also keep a copy for the records as well. And at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to place them in the Q&A. And if you don't have any questions for us, we thank you for joining us this evening. And I'm going to put an exit survey in the chat as well. If you don't have any questions for us, if you can please complete that prior to exiting out of the Zoom platform, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you.